Hey y'all, I know it's been a while since I last posted. I'm actually not sure if I posted this year. Couldn't care less to check. We have a lot of catching up to do, and I generally don't know where to start. A lot of unimaginable shit happened to me this year, and weirdly enough, 2026 is probably my favorite year so far. Not because, it went perfectly. It absolutely did not. Actually, if I'm being honest, it was just full of losses. I think I accumulated more dubs, more wins in 2025 than I did this year. This year, I just lost. I just lost a lot. I lost so many things. I lost people. I lost parts of myself. I lost things I thought were going to stay. Maybe that's exactly why this year became so important to me. Because every situation I went through, good or bad, they forced me to look at myself a little harder, to become a better friend, a better son, a better member of my community, a better partner, and most importantly, better person for myself. I don't know if I can share every intricate detail of everything that happened, and honestly, I probably shouldn't. Just trust me, they were bad, like bad, bad. And you'll probably notice that the tone of this vlog is different. I'm not wilding, I'm not crashing out. There's no elaborate concept, no crazy adventure, no bullshit. It's just me sitting in front of a camera talking. And I think I want to do more of that this year because this channel is basically a time capsule for me, something I can look back on years from now and remember who I was. And if I'm going to do that, I have to be completely honest. People probably know me as the goofy guy, always making jokes, always wanting to laugh and shit. And I love that part of myself, but there's obviously a lot more going on underneath that. I love talking about feelings, emotions, fears, insecurities, the things people don't really know how to talk about. And I want to explore that side of myself more, which actually brings me to something I watched earlier today, Spider-Man. I know, very, very, very deep transition, but hear me out. I've been watching Marvel movies since I was a kid. Those movies were a place of comfort for me, made me feel seen, they made me laugh, and found little pieces of myself in those characters. So I went into Spider-Man A Brand New Day knowing basically nothing, and I wasn't spoiled. I didn't know what was going to happen. I just knew that I was probably going to enjoy it, but I didn't expect it to hit me the way it did. Maybe it's because I'm getting older. Maybe it's because my 20s have come with their own set of worries, insecurities, and questions. But somehow, this movie felt like it was talking directly to things I had been experiencing all year. And I walked out of the cinema feeling like I just been reminded of these things I already knew, but desperately needed to hear again. So one of the biggest things was this: listen to when your body is trying to tell you something. Peter spends so much of the movie pushing himself, even when his body's clearly telling him to stop. And honestly, I do that too. I think a lot of us do. When we're stressed, overwhelmed, heartbroken, or carrying something we haven't processed, we just keep on moving because we feel like we have to. We tell ourselves we'll rest later, we'll deal with it later, we'll think about it later, and eventually your body's like, bro, we literally try to fucking tell you. And this year, I finally started listening. I learned that rest isn't weakness. Sometimes rest is exactly what allows you to keep going. And that was something I really needed to learn. The second thing was something I think everyone needs to hear when they're going through loss. You're stronger than you think you are. When you're in the middle of something painful, it's very easy to believe that you're never going to get out of it. You think your life is falling apart. You think you'll never feel normal again. There were so many moments this year when I generally didn't know how I was going to pull myself out of them. But every time I thought I couldn't handle something, somehow I did. And when I look back at the things I once thought would destroy me, I realized they actually made me stronger. You don't become stronger because life gets easier. You become stronger because you survive the things you thought would break you. And then there's the phrase, a brand new day. I think I interpreted that differently after everything that happened to me this year. It doesn't mean forgetting the past. It doesn't mean, you're suddenly okay. You don't just wake up one morning and magically stop missing someone. You don't suddenly understand why everything happened. Sometimes you just wake up and you decide to keep going anyway. A quote from the movie that struck me, man, I was really on my notes while watching. Hold on. Man, I was really on my notes while watching the movie. Redirect destructive energy into something useful. That's the meaning of damage control. You can't control everything that happens to you, but you can control how you respond to it. Your past can explain you, but it doesn't have to define you. And honestly, that became one of the biggest lessons of this year for me. I also realized something else that you don't have to do everything alone. There's a scene in the movie between Jean and Aunt May that really stayed with me. Jean has spent all her life feeling alone and misunderstood, and Aunt May tells her something so simple. We love you not because you're special. We love you because you're you. And I think that's something everyone needs to hear, because sometimes you don't need somebody to fix you. You just need somebody to see you, to sit beside you, to remind you that you're not alone. And this year taught me that in a very real way, because after all of these losses, I started talking to God a lot. Random times throughout the day, I'd ask why certain things were happening. I'd ask for strength. I asked for clarity. And I remember praying for something very specific. I asked God to take people away from my life if they weren't meant to be there. And I also asked God to keep me closer to the people who were meant to stay. And looking back, I think He actually answered me. Not immediately, not always in the way that I wanted, but He did. Some things happened right away, some things took time, some were incredibly painful, but eventually I started understanding. I think that's one of the strangest things about pain. While you're going through it, you don't understand shit. You're just trying to survive. But sometimes months later, you look back and realize, like, oh, that's why. And one of the things I gained from all of this was my relationship with my parents. This might honestly be the biggest win of my entire life. I've always wanted to have deeper conversations with my parents, and somehow going through one of the lowest points in my life brought me closer to them. I saw how much hurt they were seeing me hurt. I realized how much love had been sitting there this entire time. I love my parents so much, and I don't want to ever take that for granted again. I want to continue striving for them, to make them proud, to be there for them the way they've always been there for me. And then there were two other people. Two absolute dumb fucks. People I genuinely thought I could never get any substance from. Just pure dog shit, fun, fuckery. But I was wrong, because at my lowest, these two actually showed up. They held my hand. They helped me stand when I couldn't. They checked on me constantly. They distracted me. They fed me. They took care of me. They made me laugh when I didn't want to. And I realized that this maybe was the kind of friendship that I was looking for all along. Not necessarily people who have the perfect words, just people who show up, people who care, people who make you feel like you don't have to carry everything by yourself. And for that, I'll always be grateful to them. I think that's what this year ultimately taught me. I spent so much time thinking about what I lost, but somewhere along the way, I started noticing what I still had. My parents, my friends, my faith, my health, my ability to create, my ability to love, my ability to start over. And I think the biggest lesson I've learned this year is that I need to be more positive. I'm not talking about pretending everything's okay when it's clearly not. I actually mean paying attention to the good things, being appreciative, being grateful for the people, experiences, and the blessings that are already in front of me. Because sometimes we're so focused on what left that we forget to look at what stayed. And maybe that's what growing up is. Not becoming a completely different person, but becoming more aware of who you are, what you need, what you love, who loves you, and what you're willing to carry forward. I know that I'm still a work in progress, but at least now I have tangible examples of the person I want to become. Someone calm, appreciative, faithful, loving, and strong. And I think that's why I'm still here talking to you in front of this camera. These are my reasons. The people, the lessons, the losses, the things I gained, the things I still have, all of it. But before I end this video, I want to remind you of one thing. be present in your own life. Learn to appreciate both the good and the bad. With other people, learn to depend on them and learn to let them depend on you. I think that's a privilege. So reach out to the people you love. Call your parents, call your friends, check on them, tell somebody you love them, because time is so fucking short. And if you're lucky enough to have people worth spending it with, spend it with them. I think that's what my brand new day looks like. Just choosing to wake up and keep going. That's all for today. A biento. I'm really on my friend shit right now, I swear.